Catherine.
I was just wondering, with my pain caused by the polymyalgia, now when I...
Do you want to describe what polymyalgia is for people to understand?
Poly is many, my muscle, algia pain, and rheumatic is the type of pain.
Yes, so there's pain in the muscles all the time.
Yes,
Yep.
and it also affects the ligaments and tendons.
Yes,
too.
it makes them feel under stress all the time and makes them feel painful to move and so forth.
Yes, yes. Now, I know why I have it. Now, what I was wondering was...
Do you want to explain why?
It was put there by my parents.
Yeah.
Because of the way they treated me, and I believe, and still do believe, the way they treated me,
that you deserved it.
that I deserved it. And I believe it's all my fault. And I'm to blame.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a desire to avoid the truth there, isn't there, that it's not all your fault
Yes.
and that you're not to blame.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, what I was wondering, I quite
But can
often...
I also say,
Sorry.
Catherine, there is a link to that and fear as well.
Yes, there is
Which
fear.
you obviously understand.
Yes.
In the ligaments and joints are a lot about pain, and ligaments and joints are a lot about fear and not wanting to feel fear.
Yes.
Which you've started doing, so that's really good.
Yes.
So you're taking action,
Yes.
which is really good.
But, yeah, what I wanted
Sorry.
to know...
Fire away.
was I process, or I think I process some of this emotion, and the pain, it doesn't disappear, but it abates quite a bit. But
When you say it abates, can you explain? Like it's nowhere near as intense?
it's nowhere near as intense,
Right.
yes, yes.
So you know you're on the right track.
Yeah, but the trouble is that after a short period, it might only be a day or something like this.
Yeah.
The intensity comes back again.
Yeah.
So I assume that I'm just telling myself I'm doing something and it's disappeared, but I don't know. I just wondered why, if I'm processed it and the pain dissipates,
Well,
or maybe it might stay away for 3 or 4 days, and then it will come back.
Well, you know from your experience with fear, don't you, that certain, like for example, all these heart problems you were having with your fear,
Yeah.
and you were very concerned that you were going to die from that, right?
Yes. Well, I still could.
Yeah. Yeah, and that even caused you to believe that you couldn't process fear. You had to be careful, and you'd be better off going to get an operation and all those kind of things, which you ended up deciding to not do.
That's right.
Yep, and
Well, I was frightened of that too.
yes,
I
because
mean, the operation they were going to give me. I mean,
pretty intense
1%
operation.
Die on the table, and they 2% die within the next little while. So
Yeah.
I mean, there was fear from not having it as well.
Exactly. That's right. So you decided to take the less intrusive approach, which was to address
right.
some fear-based emotion.
Yes, and I wouldn't take any drugs either.
No,
I
that's
wouldn't
right.
take any drugs right from the beginning.
Yeah. So in the process of doing that, what did you find?
That my fear, started to go away a bit.
Your fear started to go away because you were processing your fear, and also you had less of these events occur with
that's
regard
right.
to your heart.
Yes.
And in fact, now you have very few of them in
Yes.
comparison.
But it's still damaged.
Still damaged, but it can repair.
Well, can the valves repair?
Yeah, everything can repair in your body.
Righto.
So everything can repair. But that's obviously a faith issue you have,
Yes.
because you don't believe that. You think the damage is done, and it's not true. But the reality is you repair something there. So you've got an example where you dealt with fear, and your heart now is not going through the same stresses that it had before, and you're feeling a lot better in that regard. You sometimes still wake up afraid, but you very rapidly get into the fear, and therefore have the rapid alleviation of the instant pain.
Yes.
Right? That's the example that you've got. So you know that's built your faith. So now you're attacking this issue of the, what's it called? The myalgia.
Yeah, polymyalgia.
Polymyalgia. All right, so the question then becomes, well, why isn't that alleviating? Well, you know that it is alleviating sometimes, but it seems to come back a few days later.
Yes.
Yes. And it's because the actual underlying causal emotion is going to take, for a start, some time to address, considering...
Well, it's been there for 70 years.
It's been there 70 years. It also, you were treated systematically badly over a long period of time in your childhood.
Yes.
By both parents.
Yes.
Sexually abused by dad, physically abused by mum.
Yes.
And these are obvious, issues where you obviously now feel to a degree that, and they taught you that it was all your fault in this process. They told you that, in fact.
Yes, I know. Yeah.
I'm just saying all these things for other people's benefit. I know you know. But none of them know what is going on, so you've got to let them know. Okay, so the reality is you are using your will to you've become a little bit more sensitive to what's going on. Now, the question though is, what is the sin? Because a lot of this is about, remember, pain is caused by sin. So what's the sin?
The sin is not willing to feel.
No, you're willing to feel.
Well, not willing.
And that's helping. So you're not sinning by choosing to not feel, because you are willing to feel.
Well, not willing to feel really what my parents did to me.
No, you're willing to do that too. I've observed you willing to do that. Why are you saying that you're doing things that you're not doing? I don't understand that either. You've got to accurately assess what's going on. You are willing to feel. I've observed you willing to feel.
Yes.
So you're willing to feel. I've observed you willing to, see the issue with your mum and dad. You're willing to state the truth about the mum and dad issue. You are. Yes. So you're willing to do that. You're also willing to process through fear. Well, I've seen you do that. So you're willing to do those things, and if nothing is changing, then that tells you what? That those particular things can't be the main cause.
Oh, right. Oh, so there's another cause.
What's the main cause? You identified the main cause. You told me it. What was the main cause?
Of what my parents did to me.
No. You said the main cause involved more than that. It was what? How you feel about yourself as a result of what your parents did to you.
Right, I'm not willing to feel how I feel about myself.
Yeah, you're still wanting to feel that it is your fault. You still do feel it is your fault.
Yes.
You still want to.
Yes.
So this is where the sin is. It's lack of love of self. You're still wanting to feel it was your fault when it's not. You follow me?
Yes. But it's inside me, so...
Yeah? There's a feeling inside of you that has to come out of you, that it is your fault.
Right.
So how are you going to feel a feeling inside of you that it is your fault?
Are you asking me that?
Yes, I am. It's your feeling.
Well, I've got to see that, God doesn't think it's my fault.
Good. So that's a good start, isn't it? We had to remember, a couple of days ago, we had to tell ourselves God's truth. So God doesn't feel it's my fault. So what's God's feelings? So I'm now looking at what God's feelings are. It's not my fault. So let's put that down. That's God's feelings. And remember, all of God's feelings are truth. So it's God's truth. It's not my fault.
Yes.
Now, is that strictly true? If I'm choosing to hold on to a belief that says I'm not a good person, or it's my fault, then is it strictly true that it's not my fault?
No, it is my fault.
Well, what's your fault? Let's be more specific.
I'm hanging on to it.
You want to hang on to it?
Yes.
Yes. That is the thing. That's the sin. You want to hang on to it.
Yes.
Right. Why would you want to hang on to it? What?
I don't want to believe that I'm one of God's greatest creations.
Why don't you want to believe that? Why wouldn't a person want to believe that? There's got to be a reason, isn't there? There's never no reason.
Because I'd rather believe what my parents told me, I suppose.
Why is that? See, this is an issue
It's stupid, isn't it, wanting to believe what they said?
Well, it is, but it's the same issue I'm working through myself in many cases with regard to my worth. Why do we want to accept what other people have said to us rather than accept God's truth from God about the issue? There's got to be reasons inside of us emotionally, isn't there? So what I'm suggesting is to investigate those reasons, because they are the reasons why you go back to the same opinion. You follow me?
Yes.
And those reasons are not anything you've already addressed, because if they were, it would already be...
It'll be gone.
It'd already be either gone or been lessened quite significantly.
Yes.
Right? So just like it was with your fear, once you addressed... And what was it with the fear? Remember, initially you were telling yourself you're really afraid and you couldn't feel it, and I had to convince you through some reasoning that actually, no, you're capable of feeling fear even though you're worried about your heart and what might happen to your heart. And I said, actually, it's going to help your heart. And you didn't believe that for a while, and then after a while that changed. And then we started talking about why you're afraid, and you said, oh, well, you know... You were kept attracting spirits overcloaking you when you were terrified, right?
Yes.
And they caused your heart to go into that, to what's it called again?
AF.
AF, yep. Let's be more specific.
Atrial fibrillation.
Good, eh? So it went into atrial fibrillation, and you felt that, you know, every time you got really, really scared, you were afraid of going into that place. But then after a while...
That's where I went.
You did, yes. And then after a while we talked about the fact that you were letting these spirits overtake your body. Remember, we talked about that. And in the end it worked out. We discussed how you were letting them overtake your body because you wanted to get out of your body when it was in that place.
Yes.
So we talked about you staying in your body, getting out of your body. That's a sin, right? So stay in your body, stay in your body. Every time you stayed in your body, not a problem anymore.
That's right.
It just disappeared completely. The spirit influence over your body, gone.
It still sometimes comes back.
No, because you try to get out of your body and you know that.
Yes.
And so you always come back to your body and bang, it's gone, they're gone, everything's good.
Yes.
Right? So you know it's the same problem. But there's a reason why you're trying to get out of your body that still exists. Right?
I don't want to feel what's happening.
Not about the situation. I'm saying the reason from your childhood regarding getting out of your body and why you get out of your body. That's still not addressed. Right? This is why the AF still sometimes happens.
Yes.
Because you still haven't addressed the reason why you want to jump out of yourself all the time. Right? And this other issue is similar to that in the sense that you've dealt with some of it, you know that there's some issues here, but there's a whole series of areas where you're still, in God's perspective, sinning in the sense of way you see yourself.
Yes.
And you don't want to change those particular things. You don't want to release the emotion that causes those particular beliefs.
Yes.
Yeah. So the key is to allow yourself to work through what those particular beliefs are, become aware of them, and then allow yourself to feel them. Does that make sense? And unless you do that, the problem will continue. But it will lessen because you're already dealing with, you're lessening because you know, you can feel your emotion. You're trying to accept God's truth regarding your parents and how they've treated you and so forth. So you are taking action. That's why it is reducing. But it's not going to disappear until you address the basic core issue, which is how you see yourself.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Does that make sense?
Thank you.
Many of us have a refusal to see ourselves truthfully because of the pain that will cause us to feel about how others have treated us. Does that make sense? Like the pain that others have treated us in a completely different way, it gets triggered once we start to see ourselves truthfully. So there's all sorts of reasons why we may avoid those particular situations. But I feel you know from past experience that it works, so all you've got to do is find the right thing. Does that make sense? So whenever I'm not progressing or I'm not finding the cause of some personal pain, I go, okay, it wasn't that thing. I've sincerely felt my way through that, and the result... Sometimes I've had Things like, I sincerely feel my way through something thinking that it's related to this particular thing, but it gets rid of that particular thing, but this particular thing's still there. They go, oh, well, my guess there was wrong, wasn't it? Like, there's got to be some other reason why that particular thing is occurring, right? And what I've found is that we are quite addicted to reinforcing negative beliefs about oneself. And some of the hardest emotions I've ever had to deal with are attitudes I've had towards myself. Yeah. Of course, that's not going to be the case for a person who's basically been taught by their children that they are wonderful and beautiful and lovely and everything's right. They're going to have the opposite problem, how they've treated others. Yeah. So it just depends on what kind of injuries are there as to what is the sin, doesn't it? Yeah.